Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your boy, Supreme the Car Guy, and I'm coming at you with another GTR reaction. This one I should have actually done first because it's from Bilal Flips. The last video I done was his second GTR buy. Well, his second attempt to buy a GTR. Well, before I get into it, I want you guys to like the video, subscribe to the channel, help me out, push this video in the algorithm because I'm going to drop a couple important gems when it comes to purchasing a GTR. I know I dropped a couple gems in the last video, but in this one there are a couple key pieces that I want to point out. When purchasing a GTR, when looking at a GTR to possibly purchase. So without further ado, here we go.
Which is a Nissan GTR. Not only was I lied to and catfished, but I'm all the way in a whole nother state right now, stuck in the hotel with no car. Here's what happened. Last week, I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across this listing. A clean title 2009 Nissan GTR with only 49,000 miles, and the buyer was only asking for 55,000. I instantly thought this was an amazing deal and I had to jump on it. I messaged the seller and asked him if the car had any issues. He said none. And in my head, I'm thinking, great. I just found my dream car for an amazing deal. But a part of me felt that it was too good to be true. And we'll come back to that later on in this video. He then sent me the VIN and I ran.
Okay, again, I would like to point out a low mileage GTR, right? Even 09s. Like a low mileage GTR is fetching for a high premium even at an auction. Crashed. They're going for money. Again, I understand his concern. This is Bilal Flips. He flips cars. That's what he does. But like I said before, I really don't think he understands the GTR market, or he don't understand, you know, how these cars, what makes these cars, you know, valuable and how much these parts actually cost. I don't think he understands that about a GTR because the GTR R35 GTR is a different monster than a BMW, Mercedes, AMG, Lexus. It's a Nissan, you know, but it's another monster. Like even though the platform is built off the VQ, it's based on the VQ. The VR38 is a VQ. Like whether people want to say it or not. Oh no, it's a GTR. It's a lot different. It's a different monster. Not really. It's a freaking VQ with some upgrades to it. Bored out, stroke, whatever, blah blah blah. But even though it's based off that platform, the parts are extremely expensive. Anyway, let's get back into it and I'll touch back on some more things.
The Carfax. Minor accident with the airbags deployed. Not ideal, but not a deal breaker. After talking to him on the phone for a couple of minutes, I booked my flight to San Antonio for the upcoming weekend. He promised to hold it without a deposit, which was great, and everything was set. I couldn't sleep that night because I was so excited. I just committed to buying my dream car, the Nissan GTR. I couldn't wait, but little did I know, I was about to learn a very expensive and painful lesson. Enjoy. Today might be the day that I'm buying one of my dream cars that I've had since I was a kid. I have a flight to catch in about 3 hours. Got my stuff packed, go to the shop, I'm gonna drop off the car, and we're gonna meet up with Jeff. So let's go. Got my boarding pass. Shop to get inspected. First things first, I noticed paint doesn't match. The fender was painted and the bumper was painted and just doesn't match. And I'll talk.
All right, I would like to point something out. He says the paint doesn't match on this GTR, right? First thing to point out, it's a super silver color. Same color as I have. What I was told by a GTR expert in the shop is no matter what happens, even if it's a minor incident, if you try to repaint any of the body parts for the super silver, it's never going to match back up. No matter how legit you think you are, because it's a multi-stage paint. According to him, it's a multi-stage paint that Japan don't want to release the secret to it. And I believe him because he's an expert. He's an expert on this car. And he was like, it will never match up. You're gonna, even if you think the paint matches you, it's always gonna be off because of no one outside of Japan could perfect that color mixture. All right, I just want to point that out. Here we go.
Talking these clips, so that's why I'm doing the voiceover. Also, there's music in the background, so I don't want that in the video. But the bumper wasn't flush, paint doesn't match, as you can see right there. The hood was cracked. I think that might be Bondo, or that might be just cracked. And here I just say the music playing in the background, so we're muting it. And I don't talk in clips regardless. But the rear diffuser is cracked. There's a paint run right here in the rear, which was I thought the accident was in the front.
Okay, I would like to point out that rear diffuser is aftermarket rear diffuser that he's pointing out. So he could take that crap off of there. That's not a factory rear diffuser. Okay, so that's cool. The crack on the hood, I will look into that. I will look more into that. If his Bondo, if he got to change a hood, it's extremely expensive. It's not, and you don't want to have a GTR, a Bondoed up GTR. That's just, it's not something you want. So yeah, that rear diffuser could come off of there. So that's not even a biggie. All right, let's keep going.
Boom, we pop the hood. We're checking the suspension. This guy is the inspector. He's the main inspector. Cool people. But the oil is good. And it was just slightly overfilled, which was, it's not a big deal. But he did say it was a recent oil change. And there was a valve cover gasket leak on the passenger side, which, sucks, but it is what it is. So valve cover gasket leak right there. Just on the passenger side. The driver's side was good. And it's not a biggie, but it is leaking. So there is a leak on the car. And what else? Then we keep going around, looking at the car. All the tires were completely cooked. Every single tire was dry rotted, which was
Okay, he said the tires were completely cooked. GTR tires are very expensive. Okay, that's another thing I want to touch on. The tires are expensive, so that's one. You're gonna have, if all the tires were cooked, $1,600. Have it ready. It depends on what quality of tires. You could get them for less. You could get a good quality, like some Continentals or Contact Sports, whatever, for less. But if you want the top brand tires have a minimum of 1,600 ready. So you do not want to buy GTR with cooked tires because it's going to cost you dearly. All right, let's go.
was rough to say the least, and definitely not safe at all to drive. Especially if you're driving fast and one of the tires pop, that could be your life. Boom, brake pads were good, which was good. And then the rotors were very questionable from what the guy is saying. He said, yeah, they said it's common with these cars for, the rotors to be a little, rough looking since the way people are driving these cars. And it is what it is. So, and boom, we lifted up all the way to the top. And now,
Also, rotors, brakes on that car is expensive. Like, you could spend a couple $1,000. You could spend a couple $1,000 on two brake rotors, just to keep it 100 with you. You could, depending on if you get the hats with them or whatever, because those are two-piece rotors. They're very expensive. I have some in my closet right now, and I'm about to put on my GTR, so I know. Okay, um, you wanna address that. You wanna address that right away. Pad slaps on a GTR are not recommended unless, I mean, if it's not no kind of any damage to the rotors, because those rotors are also known to have get little cracks in them near the holes, could cross your roads near the holes. So if it's not that, then you should be good to go. But brakes are expensive on this car. You could spend a few $1,000s. You can. So let's keep it going.
we're checking underneath. There was no leaks on the engine oil pan, which was good. Here are the dry rotted tires. And then here's the car lifted up in the rear. Boom, he's checking everything up front. No leaks from the turbos, which was cool. So not bad. And the CV axle was loose on the passenger side. I'm guessing that's from the accident. CV axle loose. The reason why it's not fitting correctly, who knows? Maybe it's just a CV axle. Maybe
Honestly, if that was me, that a loose CV axle not fitting correctly because it was in an accident will be the end of the deal right away. But, mainly because I know GTRs. I'm not an expert in, but I know enough about it. I spent a lot of years with one, doing, little repairs here and there, and watching my guy, Ivy Technologies, shout out to Sean, watching him do things. So I understand this car pretty well, and that would have been a done deal. Because one thing you don't want to do is get one of these cars and start trying to figure it out. If your pockets is not deep, do not get one of these cars. Well, obviously he's all right, but do not get one of these cars and try to figure it out. And this is to the people who are thinking of buying a GTR in the future. Great car. It doesn't break much at all. Trust me when I tell you that. It doesn't break that much. But it's not a car you want to get and try to figure it out unless you just really got it like that in your bank account. All right, we
The
go.
whole frame, or where it's supposed to sit in, is messed up. Cracked front lip, and then we're waiting for the car to cool down so we can check the coolant on it. And I just walk around the shop, record the cars, some GTRs, Supras, Trackhawk, another GTR, Supra, and an MR2, Evo, G, a bunch of Evos back there in the back, like 3 of them. Twin turbo F-150 or something, F-150 or single turbo. GTR, he said this is one of the fastest ones they have, which was sick.
Yeah,
And this Camaro, which complete race car. I mean, missing a headlight and everything. The front, like, look at that hood. I think it's crazy. Gutted inside. Sick cars they have. But yeah, no disrespect against any of them, but we're on the test drive, and I'll talk to you guys in the next clip. All right, y'all. I'm in the hotel. Did we buy the car? Yes or no? We did not buy the car, man. It is what it is. So, I don't know if y'all saw in that last clip where I was test driving the vehicle. Man, Christmas tree on the dash, right? And look, I know cars, right?
That is not a Christmas tree on the dash. I mean, granted, if you want the perfect GTR, that's no Christmas tree on the dash. I've seen Hondas with worse. Like, that's not a big deal. You know, he just doesn't understand that car pretty much.
I know. This is what I do. I buy and sell cars. I know these cars. Salvage cars. I fix them. I know these cars. I know when something wrong with the car, right? First of all, the airbag light flashing the whole time, flashing. And this guy told me when I asked him, like, are there any lights in the dash? He's like, yeah, the airbag light, like, it flashes for a little bit, but then it turns off. The whole time I was with the car, it just kept flashing and never turned off. So that's the first thing. Second thing, traction control light on. It's a hit or miss with that. It could be a small little wheel sensor. It could be something terribly wrong with the suspension, and the whole thing is out of whack, right? So there's that second light. That's it, because the third light is exclamation mark. I think it was with the traction control light. Okay, so lights on the dash. Boom, 3 lights on the dash. Next, I'm driving the car. This thing is like this, right? And this car was in an accident, right? But it was an accident, but it's still clean title. So I'm thinking, okay, couldn't have been
that airbag light. It depends, because you can flash that out if everything's plugged back up correctly. You can get the proper scan tool or whatever, and flash that, reset that if everything is back correctly. I mean, I agree with him. A GTR with a flash and airbag light, and you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't want to just get yourself all entangled in it, and then it's a much more costly issue than what you intended it to be. So that's one. And if you put in racing seats, and the airbag light will come on, it will stay on. You have to reset the system with a scan tool. The proper scan tool. Okay, now let's get more into what he's saying about the test drive, and I'm going to give my takes afterwards.
that bad, maybe easy, something slight, fender bender. I'm not tripping on that, right? I'm not scared of that. When I drove that car, I'm like, okay, this car has suspension damage. Either the frame is bent or that's suspension damage. And, that was a bummer. So I'm driving, the steering wheel is not straight. You're going straight, the wheel's like this. And the steering is heavy. It's heavy. Now, I don't know if that's how GTRs are, right? Because it's the first GTR I've ever drove. So I can't be like.
I could tell him right now, a GTR is not supposed to have heavy steering. If the GTR you test drove had really heavy steering, problem. Don't even do the deal, because again, parts are extremely expensive. Yes, you can go with some aftermarket stuff, but you don't even know what's really wrong. So I agree with him on that. Like he didn't want to get himself into a situation that's extremely costly and much more costly than he wanted it to be. So as a businessman, he did the right thing. Well, as a customer too, he did the right thing. So I hey man, I respect that.
That's why it was. But I don't know. But from my experience, when cars like that, there's something wrong. Like there's something completely wrong with the suspension, the wheel. So on the side that got hit, like the wheel's bent in a little bit. I flew from North Carolina to Texas to buy this car, right? And when there's problems like this, like bro, you kind of it's just a waste of my time. So that's the third thing, right? The body work on that car. Oh, good God. Whoever did that body work, no bueno. Overspray all over the engine bay, overspray on the hood. The paint doesn't even match together. The bondo cracked on the hood already. They used a screw to put the headlight in on the passenger
Wow.
side. It was just it was just boof. Cracked lip, cracked rear diffuser. Paint runs in the rear. I'm like, y'all painting the rear too? The actually was in the front, but there's paint runs in the rears. I'm like, oh my god, they paint the rear too. Another
I would like to say those headlights are very expensive too. You could find them on Facebook Marketplace for a good deal, but if you just want to slap some in, but you do not want to cheap your way around body parts on a GTR, like putting them in with screws that don't belong and stuff. Again, people don't appreciate how special these cars are. Um, and they're very expensive, but they don't respect that. So no, he did the right thing. As far as the diffuser and the lip, though, that lip is also aftermarket. That's not a factory lip. So he could have went and put a factory lip on there. It would have cost him about 1,000. Because the lip come with like a under tray that you have to also screw on, and it's about 1 grand. It's expensive. Like if you want it brand new, the diffuser don't care. Um, it- Bondo cracking on the hood of a GTR, I would throw that hood away. But again, he doesn't want to spend that much money. He wants to get it and flip it. Unless if it's for him, fine. I would take that hood, get rid of it, or get some new body work done. Because there's no way you should put shit body work on a car like that. Well, on any car, honestly. So here we go.
thing while I'm driving that car. Man, a couple shifts, like it was rough. Like that thing like jerked you, and you hear like the transmission like click click. I'm like, bro, are you serious, bro? The guy that did the inspection that he came with me, he's like, yeah, it could just be the clutch. Now I don't know if these guys try to set me up, right? Because the GTR shop we took it to, they already knew each other, right? They already knew each other, and he's saying like the guy that's doing the inspection is like, yeah, he told me that you guys want to check if there's like an oil leak or like there's leaks or something. And bro, what? We need oil leak. I can tell if there's an oil leak. I need you to check the engine transmission.
All right, well, that's it. I'm gonna give my take, but that's the end of the video. Uh, well, for me, it's the end. You could check him out at Bilal Flips. He does car flipping and everything. He's pretty knowledgeable about cars, but on this one, I guess this is his first time dealing with a GTR. Obviously, it is. But I would like to say the problems that he was looking at are expensive. They are expensive to fix. Like, so not knowing he did the right thing. Axle hanging out, heavy steering, misalignment. The misalignment could be bad suspension or bad alignment, but he doesn't know if nobody's being straight with him about the history of this car and what's wrong and not wrong. Um, allow a clunky transmission in the '09. That's common. You would throw it in reverse, that joint go. That's just how those transmissions operate. They're not a smooth Mercedes or Lex. That's not what the car is intended for. It's not that car's DNA. It's a raw uh gear clunky clackety clack, transmission. That's just the nature of the car. And if you're looking for some relaxed, smooth, Nissan 370Z or something like that is not the car to even think about buying. Especially the '09. The '09 is the rawest version of that GTR. So he obviously don't know that. But what he did point out is correct. That car did have some issues that could have been very expensive to address correctly. And that could be why the GTR that he went to see was half-assed, because whoever owned it previously just wanted to put some stuff together, get that GTR out the door like it's a Honda or something. It because he probably or she could not afford to address it correctly, because it was expensive. So they're like, look, I just want to get rid of it. So that was the cheapest thing to do. But this guy obviously knows cars. He know what he's looking for. So he wouldn't have been the guy to get that off on. Not him. I know some guys who they would have got it off on, but you know, a car enthusiast or someone who really knows their shit when it comes to looking at cars, maintenance or whatever, you're not gonna get that off on them. Especially someone who knows GTRs like me or some of my guys. They already could calculate the dollar amounts in their head looking at that GTR. Looking at these problems, the dollar signs are already adding up. They're gonna know, like, you know what? Absolutely not. But anyway, I'm out of here. This is your boy Supreme Car Guy. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and the content creator Bilal Flips. He will be in my description box below. All right, y'all. Peace.